Thanks everyone for joining us. Here we have an Agents of Game review for Dying Light. I'm Davilicious, and joining me are Unseen Shadow and JDavis. Thank you both for pulling yourselves away from Dying Light for at least a few minutes today. So you guys have been playing Dying Light for a few days now. What are your impressions so far?
I really like it. I actually like it a lot more than I thought I would. Because I liked Dead Island, but I liked it because of the co-op. The game itself had a lot of issues, but it was a really good four-player co-op experience. But this one, they fixed the mechanics as far as the melee combat goes. It's not as clunky. The controls aren't as slushy, and the parkour is just, once you get it down, it's a blast. And I think I'm sitting right around 50 or so hours now, and I'm not even close to being tired of it. So I've really been enjoying it. And when you throw co-op in there, it just becomes even better.
I have to agree with that. When you see games like that come out, like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry 4, they're usually really repetitive. Just same missions over and over, just maybe different assassinations or just kind of different names for them, but they're the exact same mission. Every side mission I've done has been completely different. I have not done the same mission once. So I mean, the game is phenomenal so far.
Yep, actually, that's true. Side missions have been a blast, and you do meet. They add some humor that's really really dry or dark, but you meet some interesting characters or Easter egg characters. Like there's one side mission where I'm pretty sure it's an Easter egg on the Metro guy that you play as in the Metro games, and then you run into the Destiny loot cave and stuff like that. So they have a lot of cool stuff for the side missions.
That sounds pretty good to hear, because I mean, even some of my favorite games, a lot of the side missions basically get to be the same rinse and repeat kind of a thing. It's kind of cool to hear there's a lot more variety in this. Now, I've heard there's a bit of a tutorial for the game. Would you describe how that works?
When I did it, it was about an hour long before you could do co-op, but they just kind of run you through the basics, and then after that, they just do tip screens for some of the other stuff. But yeah, it's about an hour of a tutorial.
Yeah, the good thing about that is though, if one person completes a tutorial and then say a friend buys the game 2 days later and he wants to hop in online, the guy who's already got past the point where he can co-op, like got past the tutorial, can invite his friend in, and his friend can actually skip the tutorial. But when he plays by himself, he has to start from where he would be in single player, so he would have to start the tutorial anyway. So you can kind of skip over it if somebody's been through it. But if you play by yourself, you're going to have to go back to it and do it all yourself.
Yep. Yeah, the co-op, the way they thread it throughout the experience is really, really streamlined, really is the only word I can say. But it's really, really smooth the way that they connect everything. So you're never really hurting the experience by doing co-op, except for if you join somebody that's ahead of you in the story, if you care about the story. But otherwise, everything is connected. And
now, you guys have been mentioning co-op a lot. This features 4-player co-op, is that correct?
Yes. 4-player, and then 5th player can be a zombie that invades your game.
Now, is that someone that basically has to get your approval or permission or be on your friends list or anything, or can that be just some random person who wants to jump in and come at you guys?
It can be completely random. So basically, you can turn that setting off to where you don't want that person, like anybody, to come in and terrorize your level or your co-op experience, or you can turn it on and have some fun with it, and then they'll come in as a super zombie, and which is, I think, is like a volatile is what they call them. And they could just go around and terrorize you at night, and it's almost impossible to kill them.
Very cool. Now, with 4-player co-op, some games scale up the difficulty. The more players you have, either they add more enemies or the enemies are more difficult. The more people you've had in your co-op group, have you found that it did get more difficult, or did it become too easy with more people, or how would you describe that?
I actually haven't even played with 4 people yet, as I've only had 3 as the max that I've done so far, so I couldn't tell you that with 4.
I I've played with 4. I don't think the zombies get more difficult the more people you have. I think they're pretty much the same. I don't think they spawn more or anything like that. I think it's just there's just a lot of zombies throughout the game, no matter what. So if you go tackle it by yourself, or if you have 4 people, I mean, it's still a pretty big battle, no matter where you're at.
Yep. They do have the thing where I think there's that for slaying zombies, but then there's a hidden depth to the co-op. Like there's abilities that you do that kind of can support other abilities. So there's a vault maneuver where you can vault over a zombie to get extra height. And you can add an ability or a perk to that ability where it stuns the zombie for 5 seconds if you vault off them. So if you're working with somebody else, if they have the ability where they can assassinate a stunned zombie automatically, you could run in front of them, vault off the zombie, get them stunned, and then the other buddy can kill them without any hassle after they vault off of them. So there's a couple abilities like that where you can build off of the other co-op partner actions and stuff.
I know weapons are a pretty big part of Dying Light, but how do they work in the game? And do they level up along with you?
Basically, it goes off your level. You have 3 parts of the skill tree that level up separately. So there's agility, which you can level up by jumping from one building to another. And then there's survivor. So the longer you survive, you get a certain amount of points at night. And then there's strength, like a strength tree, where the more zombies you kill, you level that up. Weapons go off, I think, is it strength or survivor, Dan? Do you know?
We were just talking about, I think it's survivor level.
Okay, so
basically
when you level up, the weapons level up with you. There's chests, I think, throughout the whole entire game where you have to lockpick. It's kind of like a Skyrim lockpick, the way they did it, but so if you unlock that, if there's a weapon inside, it's going to be to your level. So say I lockpick a medium chest, and my buddy's level 2 and I'm level 20, I'll get a really high damage weapon and he could just get like a really low damage weapon.
But the good thing is, right now I'm finding weapons that are 900, 1000 damage in my game. But if I don't need them, I can drop them for my buddies that are playing with me, even if they're like level 10, and they'll get that same damage that I picked up. It's a cool way of doing it. Keeping them competitive with you.
Yeah, and the good with that being said, I mean, it's kind of a downfall to a game because the people I played with, they've only maybe logged in 15 hours, and I basically rushed them through and gave them all good weapons, and we just completely dominated the story. But that being said, there's a lot more you can do with weapons. I mean, there's blueprints. You find a blueprint, you get all of the modifications for the blueprint, and you can add that to your weapon to make it stronger.
Yeah. There's rarity to the blueprints as well. So you have like green blueprints or gray that are normal, and then you have the blue, the purple, and then the orange that you can find, and those do the best upgrades.
Yeah, and it's the same with weapons too. Weapons are like Diablo 3. You get like the really common items that are just white, and then the colored scheme and so forth. So orange being the best, white being the ones you find the most.
Okay, on to something a little bit different. A lot of zombie and survival games have a day-night cycle, where the nighttime is supposed to be a little bit more difficult. Does Dying Light do anything that sets it apart from other games in terms of that, or did it seem like they handled that pretty well?
It's the same. When night falls, there's certain zombies that come out that are more aggressive. They're called the volatiles. Is that right? Did I say that right? Volatiles?
Volatiles? Yeah. I think
volatiles.
It's like
yeah. But anyway, they're like the ultra zombies, and they'll hunt you down if they see you. And there's a stealth aspect to it too. So at night, if you're careful enough, you can dodge them by their cone of vision. And then they have other special zombies that like spit at you and that blow up. And then they have one that gives you special crafting material. And then they have more aggressive normal zombies at night that will chase you down, and they can climb just like you. So nighttime becomes pretty scary. The first time actually they introduced nighttime to you, it's pretty intense. And it's a good way. They double XP for everything, every action that you do at night. So when you're running from zombies and fighting and killing, you're getting double XP the whole night. So it's a really good way, especially if you're working with a group, to get that to boost your leveling a little bit.
Now, one of the things they've been talking about with the game is that there's a pretty big open world. A lot of times, companies will advertise that there's a big open world, but basically you're just running through narrow pathways, or you can only stay within a certain area for the missions. How open was the open world?
I thought it was pretty open. I mean, I can't recall not being able to go to one section of the map. Can you, Dan? I mean, I feel like that every place we went, we could access at one point.
Yeah. Yep. There's an outer edge to the map, but everything within, you can climb and get to.
And the good thing about that is the whole open world aspect is if you're running, say, like you have 4 people in a game, and you have 2 people doing a mission. The other 2 people can be completely across the map doing whatever they're doing, or just sitting there putting skill points in, whatever it is. But when those 2 people get to an objective, the other 2 people that aren't even near can actually teleport to them. And so, I mean, you don't have to wait for them to get all the way across the map, and you don't have to be together the whole time. You can just be out doing your own thing.
Now, you mentioned being able to climb things and jump around. Games like Brink and Mirror's Edge and a few others have used parkour in their games with varying degrees of success. Does it seem like it flows pretty well with Dying Light?
Yes, I really like the parkour system, and I was even at first, before I got used to the game and learning what you could and couldn't climb, I was a little bummed because they don't let you climb up the side of buildings, or they don't let you do a vertical climb. It's just jumping from platform to platform. But then I started noticing that there's spots on walls, buildings, where you can climb up, and they do let you climb up the side, like Spider-Man, you could say. But the thing that really showed it to me was we went to this bridge where there's just a ton of loot there. It's almost like a raid party when you go there, because they just pack it with zombies. And we're like, oh, we should see if we can get up to the top. And they have this climbing puzzle all the way up the side of the pillar to get to the top. And it was just a really cool discovery there, because it really opened up the game, for me at least, seeing that. And I love the parkour. They executed it really well. I actually can't think of how they could do it better for the system that they have. But
well, I think the reason why you were kind of I was iffy about it too, because Assassin's Creed, they spoil you with the way you can jump around from building to building or whatnot. But this is more realistic. You have to have a ledge to latch onto, opposed to Assassin's Creed, where you can just basically walk up the side of a building.
Now, with so many of the games that came out last fall, especially, it seems like it's hard for any developers to be getting a good game out there without it having a lot of bugs. Is Dying Light a victim of this? Are there a lot of bugs, especially game-breaking bugs in Dying Light?
In my opinion, I think this is the most flawless game from release date. Every game that I've played has, some kind of glitches or bugs that's been released for Xbox One so far, and I think this game definitely takes the cake for the best release without bugs or glitches.
Yeah, coming from, these are the same guys who did Dead Island, and Dead Island was just notorious for its glitches and game-breaking glitches too, not just random glitches. And they've definitely improved their game-making skill as a studio, because I haven't run in, the only glitches I've seen have been hilarious. Like zombie ragdoll will bounce around like a bouncy ball, and that's it. That's seriously the only glitch I've seen in the game so far. And as far as online connection, just super smooth. We haven't had any issues being able to join together and play. And yeah, it's just, I'm really impressed. Techland definitely improved.
Now, without spoiling anything, Davis, you said you've gone through and beaten the game. How did you feel about the ending?
But the last part of the storyline kind of just throws you off. I mean, there's stuff that happens that you're just what? Why would they put you through that? And there's actually a little scene, a little thing near the end. It's kind of like a Max Payne type map or type mission you have to do. I mean, it's got like that real dreamy look to it, and the whole world is just abstract and everything's just moving around it. It's crazy, and it takes forever to get through, but it was so fun. But I mean, best story wise, it's probably one of the best stories I played on Xbox One so far.
And you mentioned that you did some of the side quests, but some of the people you're playing with wanted to run through pretty quick to be able to get through the ending. Do you feel that for a person who plays like that, or who might have done some more side quests and then gets to the end, is there much replayability once you get to that point? Do you feel like it's a game you would want to go back to?
Well, when you complete the storyline, like most games, you can actually go back and just do all the side quests. But I've found out that it's actually some of the side quests intervene with the storyline. Dan, I don't know if you remember, but we've seen that at the beginning there was a guy you had to give a gun to or something like that.
Yes,
and you in the sewer later on. When I joined my buddy's game and rushed him through, that guy wasn't down there, so like that wasn't a part of the little cutscene. Like for instance, say like I'm just gonna throw this out there. Say like you do a side quest and you have to, help a guy's daughter escape or something like that, and then later on, like maybe in a cutscene, she'll maybe come save you or something. I don't know, but and then like if you don't do it, then that cutscene won't even be there. But I mean, it doesn't affect the story. It just you get to see more cutscenes, more dramatic cutscenes.
Okay, so it doesn't really change the whole flow of the game, but at least there's a little bit more flavor to it with what you do.
Yes. That is one thing that playing through the story so far, what I've seen, and we were talking about this when we were playing the other day, is there's certain events in the story where they missed an opportunity to have it be a choice for the player to affect the story, because there's a lot of times, at least in the first half of the story, where you make a decision, or the game makes a decision for you, and it's just like, it could have been way more interesting to let the player make that choice and see how it affected. But that's like you can't really hit the game for that, because that's not how they designed it. But it definitely would have been a great opportunity for them to have that.
Yeah, kind of like a hero or villain opportunity. Like you tell one person to go screw off, and you can tell the other person like, "Oh, I'll help you," or whatever.
Because they have the factions in the game, so you could easily decide which faction to be loyal to, or to betray, or spy on, or whatever. I don't know. That's wishful thinking, obviously, but that's an opportunity that the game could have definitely benefited from, and to make it more replayable too. So if you sided with one faction their first time through, you have 3 other playthroughs that you can side with the different factions.
So for the gamer who is still sitting on the fence for this one, is Dying Light worth picking up?
I would highly recommend it. My question would be, first, if they played Dead Island. If they enjoyed Dead Island, they would obviously enjoy a better experience of Dying Light. The other one would be if you'd play Far Cry, the Elder Scrolls games, or any game that's like a first-person view with an RPG element. I could definitely see them not enjoying the game, not enjoying, whatever I'm trying to say. but yeah, if you're used to first-person shooters and you're used to RPG and stuff, and you like zombies and you like co-op, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I could highly recommend it.
I could recommend it, but I'm a real stingy gamer, and Dan knows this too, because I've purchased games and then took them back like 3 days later. I'm huge in co-op. I hate playing single-player games. The only thing I would be cautioned with, it's a fantastic game. I would recommend it. But as for longevity of it, $20 for a season pass. I mean, how much DLC are they going to release? When are they going to release?
Especially when they haven't even talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a fun game for the time if you want. But here in like a month or two, yeah, I mean, are they going to have anything out? It's kind of up in the air. But I mean, if you're looking for something to play for a month, it's definitely probably the best game out right now, as far as no bugs, flawless wise, co-op wise. I mean, it's phenomenal. But longevity wise, I mean, I give it another month and a half before you get bored with it.
And I personally am a completionist. I like to get all the achievements, or at least most of the achievements, and all the collectibles, and everything the game has to offer. So a lot of times I end up playing games a lot longer than a lot of people do. So that's coming from that perspective. Like if you're a completionist, the game definitely can add some more time to it. But I think having friends to play with helps a lot. If you have a good group of friends to play the game with. And if anything, like when there's a dry spell, get a group of 4 friends to get the game new, and you'd be entertained, leading into the next part of the release schedule. But
yeah, I mean, it's really the ball's in their court right now. If they want to release like downloadable content, I mean, the game's going to be fun. Like I won't get rid of it, but I mean, if I'm sitting here for 2 months and I'm still hacking at zombies, and I'm like, like
Point.
I guess, yeah, I guess I'll go find something else.
yeah.
Light.
Sweet. I give the game 5 raisins. 5 raisins.
Well, I want to thank you both again for joining us, and also all those who are listening in and watching this. We have a lot more content coming out in the future, so I do hope that you'll subscribe to see what we have coming down the pipeline. Have a good one.